South Carolina is set to enact a ban on nearly all abortions after 6 weeks.
The state Senate passed the bill on Tuesday. It now heads to the Republican Governor Henry McMaster's desk for his signature. The legislation would ban most abortions roughly 6 weeks into pregnancy. And here's why this is extra controversial. That's before most women even know that they are pregnant. It does include exceptions for rape and incest through 12 weeks if the mother's life is at risk and for other fetal abnormalities.
CBS News reporter Sarah Ewall-Wice joins us now. So, Sarah, once this bill is signed, what sort of implications could this have on abortion access in the South?
You know, once this goes into effect and is signed by the governor, this really is kind of the last place where abortion is accessible in the South besides Virginia. So really, across the entire Southeast, abortion will have restrictions after this. I think something to keep in mind here is this bans abortion after 6 weeks with limited exceptions. The other state that has a 6-week ban is in Georgia. But the reality is most women do not know that they are pregnant at that time. And so this is going to be really limiting access for a place that really was an access point for women across an entire region. Keep in mind that there's expected to be legal challenges to this, but this really ends abortion access below the Virginia across this entire area.
So it's interesting, Sarah, that Republicans actually in South Carolina are not united on this. There's actually a faction of female Republicans in South Carolina who are critical of this bill. Our Major Garrett sat down with Representative Nancy Mace to discuss her feelings on the 6-week abortion ban.
It's very difficult, especially those burdens on women and girls who've been raped or who are victims of incest. That's wrong. And that's not where the majority of Americans are today. Republican or Democrat or independent, they're not there with a 6-week ban. They're at 15 weeks, they're at 20 weeks with exceptions.
So interesting to see a female Republican there, a legislator, say that she doesn't agree with it. And we have seen how the issue of abortion has played out in other elections across the country. What are we expecting to see there in the Palmetto State?
You know, this is a really interesting fight that took place here in South Carolina because the folks who were leading the charge against this ban were five women in the Senate out of the 46-member Senate where this passed yesterday. And these 5 women are from across the political spectrum. There's one independent woman, 1 Democrat, and 3 Republicans, and all of them stood very strong against banning abortion. They actually were able to block a near total ban earlier this year and have been in this fight for months now, but they were unable to block this specific 6-week ban yesterday. And we actually spoke to them this morning. We spoke to all of them together, and there was this sense that some of them said they were sad. I think they're frustrated for sure. But, you know, one of them said she was emboldened. The fight is not over. There's a sense of hope from them. But this really does show that this issue is something that unites people as well as divides people. This is, like I said, 5 members of different parties coming together in this fight. And I think that is something we will see play out across the country, both at the state level, but nationally. There are women who have expectations of there being some exemptions. There are women who are against bans. And I think this has become a real issue that people need to talk about, and it's also been a rallying cry for folks both for and against. So it's bringing people to the table for this debate ahead of a presidential election year.
Right. So a similar move was blocked by the state Supreme Court back in January. What's changed since the last time it was voted on?
You know, they brought this back, this 6-week ban, and it had been blocked. Actually, 2 of the women who voted against it, 2 Republican women who voted against it yesterday, those senators actually originally voted for it, but they said they would not vote if there were changes, and there were changes to this bill. Keep in mind, the Supreme Court here in South Carolina has changed. So when it was blocked by the Supreme Court, since then, the makeup of that court has changed. And Republicans believe that they can get this new law through the legal system system and upheld by the Supreme Court. What's interesting about this is how has that court changed? It actually was the woman on the Supreme Court. She retired and she was replaced by a man. So now this is an all-male court. But there are questions as to how he would rule in this case. We expect, of course, the legal challenges, as I mentioned, moving forward. But the Supreme Court, while it originally said there was expectation of abortion access in the state constitution, that is under question now with this new makeup.
All right. Sarah Ewall-Wice. Sarah, thank you.